Hey everyone, Anissa here, and we're going to talk about a palette that I caved and bought. As you can tell from the title of the video, I bought the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I bought it from Ulta. I really wanted it when it first came out, but it sold out really quickly, and then from there, I really didn't make it a priority to follow the restocks or anything like that, and I really, truly... I don't know, man. I fell in love with it when I saw it in person, and I couldn't leave it in Ulta. There was literally like 3 people looking at the Ulta thing, so me and 2 other girls, and there was only 2 palettes left, and I was like, no, well, someone's gonna lose out on getting that palette, and it ain't your girl. So you all pick. Snatch that thing up with the quickness. So as always with these palette reviews, we're going to be talking about the quality when you're actually using it. So as beautiful as swatches can be, I want to see how these shadows perform on the eye. So we're going to hop in and create the look that you see right here, right now, and then we'll chat about this palette afterwards. Okay, so we're going to be starting it off with the transition, of course. So many looks of mine start, but we're going to be using the color right here. It's called Pookie. It's spelled P-U-K-E-Y, so I think it's supposed to be Pookie, even though I would spell it with like 2 O's. But yeah, no judgment there. But I'm going to be using a Morphe M441 brush. Is what I use all the time to start off a crease because it's like a nice fluffy blender brush. It still has residue on it from when I did this side, but I'm going to pick up Pookie, and this is what it looks like on the bristles right here. So we just lay Pookie right there, just ever so generously, and just buff it completely out. This is like the perfect transition shade for women of color. Like, this is all together what I like for a transition. Just kind of looks like skin tone. And this one has a nice undertone, and I'm just gonna blend that down. So next we're gonna warm up the crease a little more with this color right here called Hunt. So this is the one all the drama channels were calling her out for, like, oh, she doesn't know the name of the shadows in her palette. Like, these are a lot of shadows. I would probably forget them too. Shoot, I wrote them down to remember what's on the tutorial. So this, I'm buffing in with a Morphe M443. This one is just like another blender brush, but it's a little more tight, like not as long fibers as the M441. So it makes it perfect for packing colors a little more tightly into the crease. So just like that. And you can flare it out a little bit and then also make sure it gets brought in. So now we're going to pick up Firecracker right here. It's like such a pretty warm bronze color. I love bronze colors. I feel like every palette I have has so many like warm tones in it, but that's what I like about this palette, because you do get an array of variety of color. So I have kind of like my go-tos and, you know, some experimental colors. So I'm just using a flat shader brush, and I'm just going to pack that on to the vast part of the lid and kind of buff it over and not go past the crease on that. Now I'm gonna pick up Sissy right here, and I'm just gonna go a little more on the inner corner part with it. I'm gonna use the same shader brush. It's okay if the colors commingle a bit. It will actually help with the blending of it. So you work smart, not hard. Just like that. Now we're going to define the lower lash line with the color Jax right here. So it's like a warm burgundy color. Really perfect for like a smoky eye, or just, again, when you want to define your lower lash line without using a black. Picking up just a flat smudger brush for that. This one is the one that's discontinued by NARS. It's the E15. However, I'm letting you know that, not E15, it's just a 15 brush, but I'm letting you know the name in case you can find it aftermarket as a retailer. But it's literally just a flat smudger, so like a liner brush, but a little more rounded. You could just use a liner brush if anything too. And so this, we're just gonna smudge it on like that. Now to get the pop of color, we're gonna go into the fun part of the palette. Like, literally, like, this is the part that jumps out when I first saw the palette online. I was like, okay, those are fun, and we would play a lot with these colors. But again, sometimes even I get intimidated by brighter colors because I'm so used to a neutral eye. But this color Royalty is just such the prettiest purple. I've been like literally, I don't know, I like it a lot. But I'm going to pick up the NARS 12 brush. It's just like a fluffy, small pencil brush. So if you find something similar in shape, that will do the job. I like one that's a little bit on the fluffy side because it diffuses the color out perfectly, and you'll see what I mean. It does a lot of work for you, which is how your makeup tools should be, right? So since the bristles are pretty dark, you can't really tell the color on the back, but it does pick up quite well. And we're just gonna smush it in. And so what we're going to do is intensify the lower lash line a teach more. Now that I'm playing with the look and I'm seeing it in the viewfinder, I want to do this step for sure. I'm just going to take a liner brush, really generic one, load up the product, spray it down with some spray, and go back in and just sharpen it up a bit. So here we go, we have it on the, so here we go, have Royalty on the back of the brush. We're gonna, that first spray was weak AF. And then now we're gonna go in and so the next thing I'm going to do is just define the little outer corner just to marry the look from top to bottom. As you see, it's just ever so slightly smudged, so it's not too warm going into the cool, and you have an easy transition. So we're going to do 2 colors to do that, and then we're also going to be using this Morphe E17 brush. This is like a nicely densely packed. It fits perfectly for those smaller smudging out details, and it's nicely domed so it diffuses beautifully. So we're going to pick up 2 colors. We're going to pick up Jack's and then Chip. So literally I'll just kind of pounce like my brush back and forth in the color just to build it up, and then I'll just kind of like tap on it to get any extra off. And the way you do this, so anytime if you want to kind of define your outer corner without it looking too cheesy, like when everyone started doing like that V cat eye makeup that they did at the MAC counter circa, what, 2005-ish? Shade, I know. You're just going to open your eye, and where that pencil lands right there is just where you want to diffuse in that color. So I'm just working it really ever so slightly right there. And I may brush it out just a little bit and brush it in a little bit, but I'm mostly just pouncing in and diffusing color. And then I'll make like small buffing movements just to get it to my liking. So now I'm going to grab my Morphe E36 brush to finish up some detailing of highlighting the inner corner and right underneath the brow bone with this E36 brush. It's definitely one of my favorites, and I'm going to go in with the color Little Lady right here. It's like a perfect little champagne pink tone. That's the color on the back of the brush, and I really like this as right now a highlight. It works really well as that. I'll just use like leftover product to do the up here. So now I'm going to grab the color MFEO, and that's like kind of what I use as a corrector highlighter. So maybe if I feel like right here how that's a little too intense, I'm going to go back over it with that color with just a fluffy brush to blend it down, and this color will like transition perfectly into the look as well. So that is it on the back of the brush, and let's get some work done with this color. And I just like to tap off the excess because I don't want to over mute this to the point it looks a little chalky. This is just, again, like a technique I like to use because I hate like a bold line there, and that's how that diffuses it out. So then if you want to warm it back up, you can go back in with the other colors that we use just to, again, complete your blending and make it look perfect. Okay, so I cleaned up my under eye and everything off camera just with my concealer, but I'm just going to finish up the look for the eyes with a mascara. And then just for a quick lippy, I'm going to do MAC's Plum Dandy Frost and then just top it off with my Fenty Beauty Gloss. It's kind of what I've been doing a lot. I've just really been liking a frosty lip. It's the weirdest thing. Okay, so now that we're done with the makeup look, let's chat about this palette because that is what we're all here for. Alrighty, so where did I buy my palette? I bought it at Ulta. No, I didn't order it during the first rounds. In all honesty, I just wanted to see it in person. I wanted to see the Morphe palettes that they had now to offer through Ulta in person, just to like touch and feel and experiment with them, because I've worked with one palette before on like a friend of mine, and I was like, not underwhelmed completely, but I was just like flatline. I was like, okay, this is cool, you know, but it wasn't anything like I have to get it, because what they had to offer were, to me, a ton of neutral palettes, which I already had a ton of neutral and still do and still buy them to fill my makeup drawers. So from what I understand, this is the updated palette, of course, that has all the controversies sparking, because this is the one that has the colors on the back. This still has the white packaging, but it's supposed to be easier to clean. However, it's a white palette. It gets dirty regardless. On the inside, it is like a silver gray tone that still, again, color that lifts out of the pans do transfer onto it. I just, like, I don't know, like, palette cleanliness, that's a whole separate fight I'm not gonna get into because it's real annoying. It does come in this little outer cardboard that is in the store, and it has, again, it looks like just like the face of the palette here, bada blah. And then on the back it has the photos of Jaclyn, and then just her little chit chat and ramble about it, like creating, and then it has like the little Ulta label. It also has this little detail down here that says JH2. So I don't know if that was labeled inside the factory to represent that this is the updated packaging, but that is my guess. Now on the packaging, as you see, it lists out all the colors. To me, the photos of the colors do not translate to how they really look in the palette, which that would be my pickiness about it. However, it's good to know the names for tutorial purposes. However, on the inside here, you have, obviously I had a little fallout from the pan, but it just says this palette is dedicated to all my loving subscribers, XO Jaclyn, right here. In all honesty, I wish they would have saved it and then just put a mirror in it, to be completely honest. Thank you for the sweet words, but this should have had a mirror, because it's super annoying to go, especially while I'm recording for y'all, from palette to lifting up a mirror to palette to, like, it's just unnecessary drama. However, another thing I really wish they would have done is just put the colors on the inside of the palette. I really think that would have just done the trick. Do this message on the back, mirror, boom. Those are all the edits this thing needed. Now, what I do like about this that we're going to jump into next is that she wanted to create a range of neutrals and pops of color to accommodate all skin tones. So what it is truly a wide range of colors, which makes it a one-stop shop. What I really truly love are these pops of color here, but I also adore the fact that there are 4 transition shades that are honestly all flattering on my skin tone, which I'm a deeper skin tone, and sometimes transition shades can get a little chalky. So I have some swatches here. This one here is Pool Party, then we have Royalty, then Twerk, and then these are the transition shades here. This one here is going to be Pookie. Then I gotta get the other 2 colors. Butter is next. Sorry, Creamsicle, then Butter. So these would be like the neutrals on the outside. I didn't swatch over my tattoo, so neutral and the neutral there. Now, as you see in the performance of the product, it's totally solid. It was a lot of with those satin ones, it was a very easy one swatch to apply. No patchiness in those formulas that I've experienced in some things. So I like the fact they didn't go for a super foiled, but of course you can intensify it with a mist. As for the transition shades, I'm still loving those a lot. I will always work a little bit more at my transition shade because I'm super picky about it. I'm just OCD about blending it. But other than that, it deposited color color onto the lid very effortlessly. Let's go into cost, because that was part of the drama with this palette of, you know, you can't use your subscriber discount codes and things in Ulta. But yes, is it worth $38 to me? Absolutely, because you're getting 35 shades. That equals out to about $1.08. So that is relatively affordable on the market, compared to the other end of the spectrums where you're getting into your MAC shadows, which to me are about similar in quality. I'm not going to go into the super high-end brands, but something to me that people compared or saw as a substitute for MAC, which would be Morphe. You're still saving quite a bit of coin going the Morphe route. The only reasons I could think of why not to purchase this, and this would be totally your personal reasons, which I would always respect, is if you personally don't want to support Jaclyn Hill nor Morphe. I totally get it. There are companies out there that I don't want to support. So, wherever you want to spend your coin, good for you. Now, as for the selection of Morphe that I saw in store at Ulta, it was a couple of palettes. I'm going to try to find a clip and insert it, but the Outpost was pretty cool. Again, to me, a lot of the Morphe palettes are neutral, so I really was more compelled to buy, if any palette from Morphe at the moment, it would be the Jaclyn Hill one. They do offer a core selection of like brushes there, which the ones I used in this video, like the M441 and 443 were offered, but they were sold out. But other than that, it's really cool to see a brand grow from being just online based in one store in California now to be able to be sold through Ulta. So for the people who are business people out there, I think you understand where I come from, where I say kudos to them. They stepped their coin up at the end of 2017 on all of us, straight up. But as always, I hope you enjoyed this little makeup chit chat and review. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any other questions about the palette down below in the comments. And don't forget to hit subscribe so we will be a part of my beauty tribe here on YouTube. Thank you to all of you all who have subscribed. It's so amazing to connect with you all on here, on Instagram. I'm so appreciative. Like, I don't know, like I saw comments on a picture today from people who I know are my subscribers, and it literally lit up my heart. Hopefully we can keep this growth going and you'll be a part of that. Until then, I gotta say goodbye and catch you in my next video. I'll miss you all until then.